Welcome to this Green Skills Plus Masterclass. This session is part of an exciting learning journey designed to help young people build the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the green energy sector. You'll hear directly from Schneider Electric experts as they share practical insights and real-world experience on topics that matter for your future. Stay with us until the end for tips and career inspiration, and don't forget to sign up on the Schneider Electric University website. It's a free digital learning platform full of resources to help you grow your skills in energy, sustainability, and beyond. Today, we are pleased to bring you a session designed to spark reflection, not only on how you approach your professional projects, but also your personal ones. To guide us through this journey, we are joined by two distinguished experts, Ashish Kumar Malik and Mayukh Ghosh, who will be leading today's masterclass titled Continuous Improvement, Learning to Get Better Every Day. It's a pleasure to welcome our esteemed guests, Ashish, Mayukh. I hope you're both doing well, and thank you for leading this important session today. So, let me briefly introduce our experts. We have Ashish, who is based in India. He is a business excellence leader with 28 years of experience in quality, operational excellence, and change management. He has trained over 3,000 professionals in continuous improvement methodologies and brings a wealth of practical insight to today's discussion. We also have Mayukh, who is based in the United States, and he is the Global Continuous Improvement Director at Schneider Electric. He has played a key role in transforming the CI landscape through strategic planning and execution, delivering significant bottom line impact. So with that, I'll hand over the mic to our guests to begin this valuable session. So please, let's get started.
So what is continuous improvement? As per Masaki Mai, known as the father of continuous improvement, it is everyday, everybody, and everywhere improvement. Continuous improvement, or Kaizen, means making small changes every day to become better. It's about everyone, everywhere improving something, no matter how small it is. Even a tiny step forward counts. In simple terms, not a day should go without improvement. But there are some myths surrounding continuous improvement which prevent this from happening. So let's bust two of the main myths. The first is continuous improvement is only for managers or engineers. It's not true. Whether you're a trainee, operator, or a technician, everybody's ideas matter. Everybody can contribute to improvement. Actually, the closer a person is to the process, they'll understand it more and can give suggestions which will practically solve the issue. Second, improvement means big changes. Again, not true. The most powerful improvements often come from small, consistent changes, small, consistent actions. You don't need fancy tools and big one-shot improvements. You just need a mindset that says, let's make this better. Having understood what continuous improvement is, let us see why it is important. Okay. Continuous improvement helps us to stay competitive, reduce waste, and increase efficiency, and also helps build trust with our customers. So actually, it helps us stay in business. It also helps us in learning new skills and grow in our career. Knowing how important it is, let us now look at some very simple examples to understand it better. Okay, so starting with the first example, there are tools which are scattered in the toolbox, which leads to waste of time in searching of tools and hence more time required for doing any work. Now the improvement done here was to create a place for each tool and identify it with a label. This not only helps in reducing the time required to do or search a tool, it also prevents chances of missing or forgetting a tool. So that's a simple example which helps us understand what is continuous improvement. Let's have a look at another example. Now in this case, the solar panels were dirty and hence the energy output generated was reduced. The improvement done was to clean it on a weekly basis. This led to higher efficiency and hence higher customer satisfaction. We can even take it to the next level by automatically cleaning or washing them at a fixed frequency. Let's look at one more example. This is about uneven cable cutting. Again, a very simple example and a common problem of which may lead to poor terminations. The improvement done here was to provide the right tool and train the team for how to do the cable stripping and cutting, which led to better termination and less overheating issues. All these are simple and yet very effective examples of continuous improvement. But how should we go about improving? Now, for that, I'll now hand over to Mayukh to share the basic process of doing improvement. Mayukh?
Right. So thank you so much, Ashish. That's a great start and explanation into continuous improvement. And I'm Mayukh Ghosh. I'm very excited and honored to be with you today to go through the next set of ideas that we will help you deploy continuous improvement. So I'm primarily going to talk about the plan, do, check, act cycle. And then I will show you some examples of how to improve and utilize this plan, do, check, act cycle and how you can try it out every day. Then I'm going to talk about some common pitfalls of not doing continuous improvement. I'm going to give you some reflection questions at the end of it, and then leave you with some final messages, which has already been talked about by Ashish. So, excellent start. Now, let's go. The PDCA cycle came about by Dr. Deming. This is one of the most powerful continuous improvement cycles that we can use every day for every situation. It starts with P, which is plan. It is when we say plan, we think about what we want to improve, right? And how do we want to improve it? Then it actually translates into action, which is okay, now that we have made a plan, what are we going to do about it? We have to physically do some action and try it out. Because if we don't try it out, it's just an idea in our head. And just an idea in our head does not really bring value to anybody, not to you, not to anybody else. Now, once you try it out, this is very key. You're going to have an outcome. In your mind, when you were trying it out, you thought this is what could happen, which is what we call the predicted outcome. And then you are faced with reality, like this is what actually happens, which is the real outcome. And that's where we go to the next part is check, right? We want to understand that what is the difference between what we expected will happen and what actually happened. And that's where a big part of the learning happens because there's always a gap between predicted and actual. And that gap tells us what we need to do next, which moves me to the next part of the journey, which is what am I going to do next? Now that I know what I know, based on the actions I've done, the learning that I've had based on the check, what am I going to do next? That helps me formulate. Now, my overall vision is still the same. I still want to go get that done. Let me go forward and do something else to see. And then you're back at plan because now you have completed the whole cycle of continuous improvement. You decided to go somewhere, you made some improvements, and then we are trying to learn from what we expected will happen, and then we complete the cycle. And then what do? Well, you do it again. So you find your next challenge, your next battle, or it could be even the same challenge and the same battle to take a step forward. And then you do it every day. It is a discipline, it's a habit. And that's how we can make improvements. Going back to what Ashish said, right? Small, consistent improvements every day. Let's talk about some examples, right? This will probably help us land this. Let's say we are getting to school late. Sometimes it happens with me as well. Maybe I want to reach at 8 a.m. every day and I'm reaching at 8:05. So maybe the first plan could be what am I going to do different? Maybe I'm going to wake up 15 minutes earlier. And then to wake up 15 minutes earlier, I'm going to say, okay, let me try to set an alarm 15 minutes earlier from the time I normally wake up and try it for 3 days. So during these 3 days, you will find out what happens. Like, one, do you wake up? If you're like me, then you're probably hitting that snooze button and going back to sleep. Well, hopefully you're not doing that, right? So your predicted outcome is that I will wake up 15 minutes early and henceforth I'll never be late again. But maybe the reality is that you're hitting the snooze button and you're consuming those extra 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And then maybe you have to think about something else which is in your act, that maybe I have to go to bed 30 minutes earlier because I found that my body clock needs maybe another 15 minutes of sleep. So that's how we can think about a problem that is in our practical life. Now let's consider another example. We have a checklist, right? So we decide to have, so the example that Ashish was showing, right? So he was showing we are all in the electricity world, and maybe we have frequent wiring issues during installation, and those are found out by customers, which result in a lot of money lost by warranty, inconvenience for the customer, inconvenience for the users, inconvenience for even the operations team. Maybe we plan to do a checklist, like, I know that from the previous wiring jobs, I've had these issues. So maybe before I leave the job site, I try to make that checklist and utilize the checklist to make sure that those steps, what we call in our world the critical to quality checks, have been done. So that would be building the checklist and actually implementing the checklist, and then checking, like, okay, now I have applied this checklist to 3 wiring jobs. How many complaints are coming back? Is the customer satisfied? Are the users happy? Are we continuing to see the errors, or are we trying to starting to see a reduction in the errors? Chances are that if we pick the right variables to check, you are going to see a reduction in warranty. You're going to see a reduction in the you're going to see a reduction in the issues and defects experience, and you're going to see what? A giant increase in customer satisfaction. And then what happens? The customer calls you back for more work, right? So because you've delivered a superior customer experience, because you've learned from the previous history, and then you've made a change. Finally, let's talk about a Schneider Electric example, right? This is one I personally worked on, so I'm very passionate about this. We had a distribution center that we had a lot of batteries. All of us use batteries. Now, these are a little more industrial batteries, and we were throwing away some of these batteries because we were not charging on time. So we went to the floor and started to think about why are we scrapping these batteries? Why are we not charging on time? And after some analysis, we found that we were not able to meet the capacity requirements of this. So we made a line change to the battery, and then we started to implement this change. Once we implemented this change, we were able to increase our capacity of the charging and the replacement, and then we were able to meet and reduce our overall scrap level. Like this, there are several situations that come about in your work life, in your daily life. The PDCA thinking drives the best way to solve problems every day. So, I think Ashish touched on this, so I will touch on this again. If we are not improving, we are going backwards. And I think there is an excellent slide on that we will show you at the end about the amount of improvement we can make in a single year, in a single day, by making improvements every day. Going back to the examples, we may lose customers, we may lose job opportunities. What's even worse is that we may waste time, we may waste issue, we may be doing and solving the same problem again and again and again. How frustrating is that? Would you like to make the same mistake again? I would not. It's very, very annoying to make the same mistake again. And you think it's not good for your psyche, it's not good for your morale. So let's use the principle of PDCA and not repeat the same mistake. And that leads to that stuck and frustration, like, okay, I'm in this hamster wheel. If you've seen a hamster, it's a little like a little mouse running on a wheel. So while there is motion, you don't really move forward, right? So we feel like we're stuck, we're frustrated, and then we are falling behind. Now you'll see your peers getting ahead. Maybe they're using this continuous improvement skills, and they are not making the same mistakes. They're not losing job opportunities. They're not feeling stuck. With the excellent growth mindset, they're moving forward. So those are the common pitfalls of not improving. That if we don't decide to make every day better for ourselves and for our work, for our process, for our life, we're going to fall behind. I'm going to keep going to the next slide. So I leave you with some questions. So think about this. What is one problem that you face repeatedly every day? Surely there is one. I know I have plenty. It's just then it becomes a matter of prioritization. The next question: What small change would you like to make and try this week? In fact, why this week, today? What would you like to change today about that little problem that's bugging you? I encourage you to make that change because you know what change to make and you know what you expect from it. And as you make this change, you will see what the actual outcome of that change is. When you see that actual outcome of your change, you'll see the gap between what you thought in your mind versus what is reality. And that will prompt you to take the next step. So let's work on this together. Use these simple questions and understand what is the difference between what you thought would happen, what actually happened, and now what are you going to do next. And put this in action and let us know what you think. Okay. Finally, start small. This is not about making those giant changes. We need to start small. We need to address those problems that are hitting us repeatedly. Be curious. The most the people who get ahead are not the most intelligent ones. It's the ones who are curious, that they are persistent, and they keep asking the questions. It may seem like a stupid question, but there are no stupid questions. Questions get us learning. Learning takes us forward. Learn from others. There is no need to know everything yourself. You are surrounded by a multitude of people who are going to be better in many things than you are, right? Learn from the collective good. This is something we practice heavily in Schneider Electric. We have a group of experts in many domains, and we like to collaborate with each other so that we can learn from each other. Let's learn from others and make that our superpower. There's no bigger superpower than that. And then finally, the hardest part, doing it every day. Very hard. Very easy to say, very hard to do. Doing it every day, following the PDCA cycle is something we highly recommend. Small steps every day lead to big success. Let's keep learning and keep growing. If we don't keep learning, we don't grow. With our mindset, our mind is our most powerful tool. Everybody's got one. So let's use it. Let's keep learning and let's move forward. Like now, I'd like to bring back Ashish to cover this last one with me because this is one thing that we always talk about the importance of simple changes every day. So, Ashish, would you like to close this out?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mayukh. So basically, what we are trying to say here is like if we do 100% every day for 365 days of the year, that is like 100% is one raised to power 365 is one again. So what we get at the end of the year is 100%, nothing more than that, nothing less than that. But if we do less than what is required, if we do 99% for 365 days, it leaves us with only 0.03. That means we are degrading every day. If you're not improving, we are going backwards. But if we improve by 1% every day, that would mean by end of the year, we have improved by 37 times. So which is a drastic improvement. So you can imagine a simple change of improving by 1% every day in 1 year can lead to 37 times improvement. So that's the whole point. So if we stop improving, we start to slip backward. We'll not become chimpanzees, yes, but yes, we start to slip backwards.
And that is our message for you today.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayukh and Ashish, for sharing your knowledge with us and our masterclass audience. As we wrap up today's session, one key takeaway we can all carry forward is that making small changes every day is something each of us can do. So continuous improvement, as we have learned today, doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with consistent, intentional steps. So we invite you all to keep this message close and embrace this mindset in your everyday life, both personally and professionally. So thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Mayukh. And to everyone watching, we invite you to keep exploring and learning. Click the link in the description to see the Schneider Electric University website, which is our free digital learning platform filled with e-learning modules, virtual reality simulations, and more interesting masterclasses like this one. It's designed to help young professionals like you build your skills and dive into the green energy sector. So we invite you all to register right now to stay updated. And we hope to see you all soon in the next masterclass. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.